Martin Scorsese's all-star mob movie The Irishman is finally upon us. The film stars Robert De Niro, Al Pacino and Joe Pesci in the same film for the first time, and tells the incredible tale of mafia hitman Frank Sheeran and his relationship with gangster Russell Bufalino and Teamsters union leader Jimmy Hoffa. The Irishman is a film that has had a lot of hype surrounding it, not least because of the incredible cast, the fact that it's another Scorsese gangster film, and because it took so long to make. There's also controversy and risk surrounding the film, as the movie was picked up by the streaming company Netflix and thus did not get a wide release in cinemas, completely bizarre for a Scorsese picture, and one with all these titanic actors in it at that. Scorsese also used state-of-the-art CGI to digitally de-age his main cast so that they could play various ages in the film, as the movie spans several decades. This means we see the 70-plus-year-old De Niro playing a character as young as in his 20s in the film, and the scale of which this de-aging is being implemented is like nothing we've ever seen before. It's safe to say though that it all paid off, as The Irishman is a monster hit with the critics. People are raving about this film, some even calling it the best film of the decade, and it's one of the most critically acclaimed films of Martin Scorsese's career, an incredible feat given that the film has come so late in his career. The performances from the main cast have all been praised and have generated Oscar buzz, and the film's story has been called entertaining and thrilling, but also thought-provoking and full of melancholy reflection. As someone who was waiting for this film's release for over 10 years, the movie was worth the wait. I was captivated by the magnificent performances from the veteran actors, playing off one another superbly. The story was deep and introspective, and it was just an all-round damn good movie. It was so great that all these actors could leave us with one last big gangster movie, and the film is further proof that Scorsese is not slowing down. If anything, he's continuing to grow as a filmmaker. However, I am of the opinion that The Irishman is not a perfect film. As with most films, there are some things that you think to yourself as a viewer that could have been done differently. I've seen a few complaints about the film, many of which I don't think are legitimate, things like the film being too long and the fact that there are no major speaking roles for women being problematic. The Irishman is stuffed with historical events and cuts out a lot of stuff from real life, so if anything, it isn't long enough. And it's also a true story, or at least derived from a true crime book, so inventing female characters and giving them major roles for the sake of it will not serve the story. Everyone has their own opinion though. For me personally, I did not find the film full of flaws, aside from a bit of a bloated opening hour in which some of the de-aging CGI is a little wonky. After that, the next 2.5 hours are some of Scorsese's best work as a film director. There is one thing that sticks out about the movie though. It's one particular scene, and funnily enough does indeed take place in the first hour of the film. It's a scene that, and there's no way around this, is absolutely terrible. And the fact that the movie is so good only makes it stick out even more. And it seems this is a sentiment shared by most. A lot of people who have seen the film and have commented on my channel have mentioned this scene. People on social media have brought it up. It's been mentioned on articles online, and even Mark Kermode, arguably Britain's best film critic, flagged this scene. So what exactly is the scene and why is it so bad? Well, early on in the movie, Frank Sheeran, played by Robert De Niro, comes home to find his daughter sulking, and after making inquiries he realises that she was hit by a local grocer after messing around in his shop. Sheeran marches to the grocer, identifies the perpetrator, takes him outside and, ignoring his pleas, beats the crap out of him. He pushes him to the floor and crushes his hand on the curb of the pavement, much to the horror of his daughter. Now, until I saw that so many other people were saying the same thing about this scene, I thought I was seeing things. I was thinking to myself, am I really seeing this utter novice level of filmmaking in a Scorsese picture? Because it was just so tacky, it looked like a test shot, like they were just rehearsing. It was so bad that when I was watching it, I was fearing that The Irishman was about to shape up to be the disappointment of my entire lifetime. When De Niro beats the guy to the floor, he looks really weird. It's not the de-aging CGI, which was fine in this scene, but the way he moves. He looks like a robot, so stiff and lethargic. And then when he steps on the guy's hand, it doesn't even look like he got anywhere near him. And again, Sheeran looks so stiff while he raises and stamps his foot. he moves back and then comes back for more, but the way De Niro does it, it's like he's hesitating and doesn't really know what to do, like he's having some kind of mental breakdown or something. And it looks like he's constipated as well, like it's causing his body physical harm by stamping on the guy. I know I'm going on about it a bit, but it was really bad. You have to see it to know just how bad. It was really amateurish. It's shocking really that this made it to the final cut. And it's a shame too, because the tackiness of the curb stomp takes away from the entire point of the scene, which is to show Sheeran's daughter Peggy's reaction to the way her dad does things, and how this kind of behaviour means she slowly starts to move away from her father, which becomes important later on in the film. Thankfully, the rest of the movie's brilliance quickly puts the scene out of your mind and you forget about it. But it is definitely the film's weakest scene by far. It's difficult to even gauge as to why this scene is so bad. The immediate answer that comes to mind is that De Niro is of course over 70 years old and he lacks the flexibility and the speed of a younger man. But I thought De Niro, as well as Pacino and Pesci, did well when playing characters decades younger than themselves. De Niro had quite a physical role. He was carrying stuff around, jumping out of cars and throwing stuff into the river, whipping out his pistol quickly to carry out hits. Some people are of the opinion that De Niro looks too big and slow in the film, that it was too obvious that he was an old man. I disagree, because I chalk that up to the character of Frank Sheeran. He's supposed to be a big, bulky character, and De Niro gives off that vibe well in the film. I never got a sense that this was an old man playing a young character, so it's a wonder as to why he looks so sluggish and awkward in this particular scene. And if it was a case of De Niro being unable to do the curb stomp like a young man because he didn't have it in him, then why not shoot the scene with some close-up shots or have a double in De Niro's place? I know Scorsese went out of his way to make sure that De Niro, Pacino and Pesci played all of their parts, no stunt doubles, no lookalikes, no younger actors, but if that's the reason why the scene looks so bad, then they really should have shot it in a different way. But anyway, it doesn't take away from the fact that The Irishman is a great film. So what did you think? Did you have a problem with the curb stomp scene, or is this video much ado about nothing? Let me know in the comments below, and thanks for watching.